All right, welcome to Wednesday Winners on this beautiful Thursday. Thank you guys for understanding that we had to switch it up. I had a couple of personal things that were running late yesterday, so we're here now. But Wednesday Winners, for you new people hopping on, what we do here is we go into the finesse of the business. Sometimes on national calls, we'll do overarching training calls, which is great, which is what you need for the nuts and bolts. But here we get into the nitty-gritty detail. All right, that's what we do here. Now, announcement I need to talk about is, guys, this month has a holiday in it. It's called Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays, but you need to put your foot on the gas now, because as we get closer to Thanksgiving, you're going to get a lot more holiday objections. It's going to be harder and harder to book appointments the closer you get to Thanksgiving. So press on the gas, work weekends. We're not talking work 12-hour days on weekends. If you want to, go for it. But put in some extra time on the weekend so that you can pad your pockets for the holiday and actually plan your time off with intent. Be intentional with your business. So I'm talking and put in a few extra hours, some more dial sessions, picking up some more leads so that you can front load your month, so that when we get there, you're not having to worry about crap. I have to do this, I have to do that. No one's showing up. Of course, it's Thanksgiving. So make sure you do that. Tonight's topic is called Placement and Persistency. We've actually never done this here on Wednesday Winners, but it's extremely important. What placement means is when you take a policy and you write it, it gets approved and it goes issue paid. That's placement. Okay, so you write a policy, goes through underwriting, it gets approved and issue paid. That's placement. Okay, persistency is keeping those approved issue paid policies on the books so people aren't canceling. That's really the main thing, is keeping people from canceling or missing payments or lapsing. We want to keep a high persistency rate. Here at the Leaser Group, we're very special because we hold such a high persistency rate. 92% of our business as the company as a whole, out of 500 agents, is 92%. So out of 100 people, typically only 8 will cancel or lapse on their policy within the first 18 months. Industry standard is 75 to 80%. There's some very specific reasons that we have such high persistency, because we train you on to care for the client's needs and not just chase a commission. We teach you how to underwrite properly, which is the biggest key component of placement. And we teach you how to follow up with your clients and keep in contact with them so you have a good book of business. I mean, right now, I'm in my 3rd year. I'm like 3 years and 9 days into this business, and I'm reaping the rewards from keeping in contact with my book of business. Right now, Forster's Financial offers a conversion bonus. And what I mean is, if you have a term product that's on the books for more than 2 years, as long as they made 24 payments on their insurance policy, you can convert that into a universal life or a whole life policy and get a whole brand new commission on the total annual premium. That's like free leads. So next year, I'll be working all my leads from 2021. The year after that, I'll be working all my leads from 2022, and so on and so forth. I'll have an extra 100, 150 leads to be able to do that and make extra money than I wasn't able to get when I first started. So stick and stay, and you'll definitely have that available. So let's go over placement. So placement is really about getting good underwriting. Okay, so it's getting the correct medical history of your clients. And it's hard sometimes. Clients don't want to be forthcoming. They're embarrassed. They think they can cheat the system. So we've got a plan to do this efficiently and effectively without getting false information from the clients. One of the ways that I do that is that we're always going to double check from what we got on the original phone call in the beginning of an appointment. So if you're checking the health at the beginning of your appointment, something else could come up, and then you'll be able to pivot to the correct product so that you can place them correctly so that they're going to get approved, right? If I talk to a 70-year-old client and they say they're perfectly healthy, nothing's wrong with them, what are the chances that that's 100% true? Slim, exactly. Because we all know that doctors love to prescribe medications, right? It's the way, it's the world we live in. So the chances of them not being on a medication is very slim, or not having some health event, right? Having super healthy 70-year-olds is totally rare. So if they say that they're not healthy, I go, great. I'm so glad that you're so healthy for your age. Congratulations. You know, the great thing about what we do is they only do a medical background check and check your medical history and check your prescription history. If I say that, they're like, yeah, well, I had a stent put in back in 2017. Oh, okay, great, no problem. We'll get that taken care of, right? We want to make sure we get that information out beforehand because we're benefiting the client. If we get them into a term product, let's say I ignored it and I just let it fly. They're 70 years old and I showed them a term product, right? They both get declined. Well, they applied for $100,000 policy. You just made your life a lot harder by trying to switch them to a mortgage payment protection of 9,000, 18,000, you know, $27,000 of whole life for the same price or more when they wanted to get $100,000 policy, right? You made it hard for them. You didn't do them justice. Also, you missed your placement. You're not placing the business, right? You submitted it, but you didn't place it. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is after you get all the medical and you double checked it, you want to cross-reference the applications, the guides, toolkits, and you want to always post your case designs in your upline chat so that we can double check it. We've been around the block. We've read all of the guidelines. We've been practicing with them. Aaron's been doing this for 11 years, going on 12 years. So he definitely knows how to underwrite things. Okay. Like I said in the last Wednesday winners, you're going to want to check your underwriting guides. Like if you have a Foresters app, you have the Foresters application you can go right to on your phone. You click on resources, and then you can click on any underwriting guide to see, hey, this person has leukemia, right? How long do they have to have been remission from leukemia in order for me to write a term? Oh, I see that it's 10 years. Okay, you look at your client and they're 8 years into it. All right, well, then I'm going to go check CFG next because they're another term company. Oh, CFG only needs 5 years for you to be in remission. This client's been in remission for 8 years. Now I'm going to go with CFG because it's the appropriate placement. They have a higher chance of getting approved. That is the point. And paying attention to that will help you with your MPP, your mortgage payment protection, right? I know it's a hard concept sale, but it shouldn't be, guys. This is what the clients can get. Because if you just give in to what they want and they want a $100,000 policy, they're going to keep trying after you to get $100,000 policies because they think someone else can do it. They'll get denied 3 or 4 times, and then they're going to get up and have nothing. And that client's going to die. And then when they pass away, their family be protected. How are you going to feel? What if the wife calls you back and says, why didn't we do anything for my husband? Why couldn't you found something for him? Right? That's why we have the concept sale, in order to give proper placement. Just making sense? Can I get some nods? Perfect. Thank you, Mark. That was an aggressive nod. So the next part of placement is writing clean applications and avoiding amendments. So not messing up their birth dates, not messing up their social security numbers, not messing up their driver's license, not messing up their address. Pay attention to those details because you want it to go as smoothly as possible. And you want to avoid to give the carrier any reason to kick this back to you. Because if you have to get an amendment, now guess what? What happens if you can't get a hold of the client? You didn't place that. It wasn't approved yet. I can't tell you how many times in the beginning I'm like, oh, I had a good rapport with that client. He'll sign this paper, no problem. Well, guess what? He ghosted me. Never heard from him again. Right? You want to get everything done right then and there so that you can get proper placement. Okay? Now, here's the thing. We have Wednesday to check our pending. That's the traditional way to do it. You spend the morning on Wednesdays to check all of your pending applications, getting any requirements done. And believe me, guys, some requirements come out of nowhere. Okay, you did your job and you did your requirements, but you need to stay on top of them so you can make the placement. All right. I had one today that came back out of nowhere with 7 requirements. Now, you know that I'm really good at doing my job and making sure that I got all the medical info. It just turns out that because of her Lyme disease, it triggered a bunch of other requirements. So I went and I made sure I handled those today. Is today Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. But every single day, I'm on top of my pending business so that I know I can place it and I can get paid. Okay. The sooner you can place and get issue paid apps, the happier clients are going to be, the easier it's going to um, uh, uh, stick to your book of business. Okay. So now that we've got proper placement, it's approved, it's issue paid. Okay. What happens next? Right. So as soon as you get an email saying that it's issue paid and the documents are heading out to the client, you're going to want to call the client again. You're going to want to congratulate them. Okay. Hey, Mr. Jones, I just wanted to let you know that you and your wife, Mary, your policies went through totally fine. You're all approved. Your family is protected. Okay. You're going to get your documents in about 10 business days. If you chose email, you're probably going to get it in the next 24 hours or so. Your first premium is going to come out either today or tomorrow. So pay attention to that. Okay. Now, once you get your documents, give me a call and we'll do a quick 5-10 minute refresher on what you got. I know it was a lot of information. All right. So you're congratulating them. You're reaffirming their decision on getting insurance. Then you're going to do a review. To a layman, what we do is a lot of information. I guarantee you, a week and a half after you sold this policy, a client's going to have no idea what they have. So if they don't have that conviction anymore, how are they going to stay on the books? Right? They know sort of why they got the policy. Excuse me. Hey, can you mute out? Thank you. So the next step is once they get their documents, guys, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to do a refresher. Mark, when's the last time you did a refresher? Maybe once a month. Once a month, a client will take you up on it, but they'll give you a call. They'll give you a call, let you know you got your documents. Then you'll go to set up a time for a refresher and they say, no, we're good. We appreciate what you did. We remember what you got. And then you move on. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that I've had one in the past like 3 months because, after thoroughly explaining everything and letting them know, do you have any questions at the end of the Zoom? I never have a follow-up really. I mean, in the past, I would say three months. I haven't done one.
Yeah. Most people refuse them. Right. But it's another touch point, right? That's the 4th time I've talked to them. Initial phone call, Zoom, congratulations on placement. And I got my policy documents. That's 4 within 2 weeks. Okay. Some people go the extra mile, and when the person gets approved, they will, what they'll do is they'll put a thank you card in the mail and send a thank you card to their clients. Peggy Joquera is the queen of that. She will get a huge stack cards. She'll make a quick couple sentence comments, and then she'll sign it and date it and send it in. Okay. The other thing you can do is right after the Zoom, send them an email with the breakdown of what you did. So, hey, it was nice speaking to you guys tonight. Here's what we did. John, you got a $100,000 15-year term policy through Foresters Financial for $55 a month. Mary, you got also a $100,000 15-year term policy through Foresters Financial for $35. Okay. Plus you have your living benefits. If you have any questions in the meantime, reach out. Okay. Let them know to reach out to you if they have any questions or concerns. Guys, if you want to make any changes, if you have any questions, reach out to me, because if they just reach out to the carrier, they're going to cancel, right? They're going to cancel. If they want to cancel, usually they're going to reach out to the carrier. But if you can make it seem like they have to go through you to cancel, then you can save your deals. Okay. Sometimes it's just a little bit of misinformation from someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. So last year, I had a client call me and said, I want to cancel. You need to cancel this right now. This doesn't come with disability. You lied to me. Well, guess what? Her uncle was a former MetLife guy that quit like 15 years ago, right? And he gave her some bad information. So I refreshed her on what she had on the policy. I showed her on her current policy where she has chronic illness, and that saved it, right? She just didn't know. But if she didn't come to me first, she would have just canceled the policy and never picked up the phone from me. Okay. I would have lost that and my persistency rate would have come down, right? So that's why it's important to keep that line of communication with your clients. That's the biggest part. You see the second bullet on persistency, it's with the warm down. Make sure they feel good about their decision. After every appointment, when the application done, I bring it back to full screen and I ask them, all right, guys, do you feel good about what we just did? Do you feel good about how we protected your family today? Right? Again, it's that reaffirming, right? We're trying to get buyer's remorse. People want coverage. They want to protect their family, but they're scared of making decisions and they're scared of spending money. Right? Some people are terrified of spending money. My stepmother will cry every time she gets a new car because she's scared of the payment. But she always ends up being fine, right? But she's emotional like that. So we want to make sure that they know that they made a good decision. So after you called them on their approval, you're going to call them again 5 to 7 days later. If they don't call you for their policy documents, call and make sure they got their policy documents. Just chat them up. Just, hey, how are things going? Want to make sure you got your policy documents. Make sure you put them in a safe spot. Make sure your family members have my information, right? So that if something happens to you, they can call me. John, I want you to know if something happens to Mary, call me. I will help you with the death claim to make sure that you get the benefit that you guys talked about. That's important to me. I want you to call me, okay? I just had it happen the other day. I had my second ever death claim. And her husband was 86 years old. We got him a policy 2 years ago. And then 3 months later, he was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know about that, but he died just 15 days ago, right? So she called me. I helped her with the process claims, and then she's coming to call me again in order to finish the claim process once she gets her forms. But think about that, right? I did my job. I made it important to help her, and she's going to keep her policy to make sure she protects her kids as well. And guess what? Another referral right out of that, right? Just from doing my job. Doing these things will put you above a lot of other agents in this industry. A lot of agents only care about money, right? Because the commissions, guys, commissions are ridiculous in this industry. I mean, you can make up to 140% commission on something that takes you an hour, and you can write 1,000 annual premium in an hour or more. I mean, I did it. My largest sale was $17,000, and I made, a good chunk of change out of that for a 2-hour process. Right? So you have a lot of people that only care about money. They're just submitting policy after policy. And guess what? I don't want their chargebacks. That's for sure, because they don't take the time to do these persistency things. Okay. So after that, you're going to call them once every quarter for the first year. So every 90 days, you're just going to call, check up on them. Right? You want them to remember you. Right? So if anything ever happens, they can reach out to you. If they sitting around the dinner table in Thanksgiving, they'll talk about how they got insurance, and then, oh, hey, call this guy Lake for insurance. And then you'll get a random call from a phone number, and it'll be a referral that you can write up right then and there. Okay. So after the first year, you're going to call them every year after that, just once a year. Send them a postcard or something, but that keeps it on the business. So you're going to want to call them once every quarter for the first year after your first initial 5 touch points, and then you're going to call them once a year, every year after. Okay. So that is placement and persistency in a nutshell. One thing I do want to add, during the warm down, So right when you're finished the applications and you ask them, do you feel good about what we did tonight? You want to make sure that they know if there's any red flags from the carriers, you're going to go to bat for them. You're going to get the information you need. If you'll work with me, I'll make sure we still get you approved with another carrier. So don't worry about it. That way, if they get a decline later on, you can switch it up to another carrier and still get them approved. That is huge for your persistency rate, because once you lose that and it's a decline, it's not placed anymore. That doesn't count towards placement, right? It's not on the books. So you want to find another carrier that'll work with them and get, it's going to happen from time to time. There's going to be curveballs, right? But practicing this placement and persistency checklist, you will be 90 to 92% persistency rate. They're guaranteed. So let's open this up to some questions. If you use the little reaction button down at the bottom, you'll be able to raise your hand. And the first one here is Jason. What's up, Jason?
Hello. Couple questions. The first one that I had was when we're getting the customer's medical information and their history and their prescriptions, we mentioned how it's going to be going towards like a medical review board. Is there any way we can just get access to that just to verify prior to submitting this, or it's all insurance companies have that?
No, insurance companies don't even get their medical records. So what they do is they have Medical Information Bureau and the Milliman report, right? No, you can't, and it only has codes. So it can only give you a vague code about what's possibly going on. Okay, that's to protect the client's medical history and privacy. Okay, so you're not going to ever get that. Like today, I had a client whose Lyme disease popped up a bunch of different codes for requirements. So I talked to the carrier to try to get a little bit more information, and they said all we can see is that they visited this hospital July 5th in 2020, and there's a possible organ removal or a piece of their digestive tract. That's all we figured out. Guess what? It was a tubal ligation. That's all it was, right? But they can't see exactly what it is, right?
Okay.
So we have to go on that, and that's why they have questionnaires to have the client fill in the blanks from what they can't see on the report. Okay.
Okay. And my other question was, what is there a proactive way that you are notified of the death? Like, how were you notified of the death of your client aside from hopefully someone from the house contacting you? But
that's why you need to have a good conversation and have them save your number in your phone, so they call you. Right? Okay. There's billions and billions and billions of dollars of unclaimed life insurance out there because people didn't call the claims office, or they didn't know that their family members had it. So you as the agent have a responsibility to talk to them about, hey, make sure you put it in a fireproof safe, right? Make sure your family, your executor of your will knows exactly where this life insurance policy is. Because if they don't find it or they don't have it and your policy lapse 90 days after you're dead, guess what? That death benefit's forfeited. Insurance carrier didn't know you were dead. So make sure they know that. That's a part of what we're going to go over next week with our referral system. It's emergency response system. So, hey, Mary, if you and John pass away, who would be the next in line that you'd want to contact me in case that happens? Oh, that would be our daughter, Samantha. Okay, what is Samantha's name and number? You get Samantha's name and number, and then you call Samantha and say, hey, Samantha, your mother and father told you that I would be calling. I'm the agent. If anything happens to them, I want you to call me and make sure that I can help you with the claim process. Oh, by the way, do you have anything in place for your family? Right? That's a great way to get referrals. And we'll go over more of that next week.
Okay, thanks.
Kim.
Hey, so I was taking notes. We're trying to write down as fast as you're talking. You said you do refresher calls after you call and congratulate them. How soon do you do a refresher call?
Like 5 to 7 days after, to make sure they got their policy documents.
Okay. And then you do the next call, what you said, every quarter, every 30?
Every quarter.
Okay.
Every 90 days. You can pull up a report. Yeah, this is why tracking your business is so important, right? Because how are you going to know what you wrote 90 days ago? You'd have to search through every single carrier's reports in order to figure that out. When I can just go like this, I can go here. So I'm going to go to my business tracker. So this is my business tracker for November. Open. Now I just started doing it digitally, but I have literally 2 years worth of paper trackers here. So let's say in January, I need to call the clients that I have issued. So boom. Now, okay, I got to call Raymond Gilmore. I wrote him 90 days ago. I remember his policy. His was issue paid. So I know that it was issue paid that month. Okay. And I just keep track of what's issue paid. A lot of this I need to go back for because apparently I didn't keep up with my notes. But yeah, it's a great way to keep and make sure you can contact those clients, right? Because now I know, okay, so I need to look for his number in Forrester's Financial. I save all my clients' numbers in the phone, so it's really easy. If I say you got to call Raymond, I'll just type in Raymond Gilmore. It'll say client from Maine, client from South Carolina, client from whatever, and I'll be able to at least drum up conversation with them, right? Because we're not going to remember every single client. So, good question.
So then 90 days, then once a year.
And then once a year after. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you never know. People say, oh, I was just talking about you the other day. I have a referral for you. Would have never gotten that if you didn't contact them.
I was just thinking, I knew I had something else I wanted to ask you about that. Gosh, I can't remember. Maybe I'll remember in the morning. The call. Cool.
Any other questions? Come on, guys. Jeffrey Morales.
What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
All right, so this is just from my experience. I had a client I did an application for, it was issue paid, all that. When I went to call her for the congratulations call, like she didn't answer. And then I ended up just sending her a text, but she responded to the text, but wouldn't answer the call. I don't get that, but
so if they don't listen, if they don't pick up the phone, I'm not going to bug them. I'm going to leave a voicemail. At that point, you can leave a voicemail. You've made that connection and things like that. So it should be good.
I just sent her a text, and then she was just, she responded to that.
Well, she was probably busy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably busy. So good question. Any other questions? Faith, any questions? Katie Jastal, any questions? Jessica, J-Lo, any questions?
You said we have like a 92% rate, right? Is that what you said?
Hold on, Jess was talking, Kim.
No, I have no questions, but this is really good. This is really good, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Absolutely, thank you.
Welcome.
What were you saying, Kim?
You said we have a 92% out of all the agents, 500 agents, we've got a 92% consistency. And
Persistency.
on average is what?
Persistency.
Persistency.
Yeah, so they break it up into 6 month, 8 month, 12 month, and then some carriers do 15-month persistency rates.
But on average, we're 92%, where others
are
like
92% for like a 12-month persistency rate, which is that's where you need to be. I mean, think about it. You're going to get all of your commission once a policy reaches 12 months maturity. So once your policy reaches, you sell your policy, you get a 9-month advance. Once the policy reaches 10 months, you're going to start getting the last 25% of your commission between months 10, 11, and 12. So once after 12 months, that doesn't mean you ignore that client because your commission's getting paid and it's non-charge backable, right? There is still more business out of it. Referral business is way easier than a lot of other business. Okay. And if you have a giant book of clients, why aren't you using them as referrals, right? That's why it's important to keep up with them and keep that placement higher, right? It's your bonus money, right? People are going to call you out of the woodworks, and you're just going to write random business. It's awesome. Jeff, did you have another question?
No, did I have did the hand
Yeah.
still raise? Oh,
Yeah, you had your hand up.
sorry about
Jason,
that.
you're all good.
I realize it's something that comes more from experience, but when you hear back for additional things that you need from insurance company, is there any common thing that usually comes up that you just proactively just get the info ahead of time?
So you're going to want to, by writing clean applications, here's an example. If someone has a colonoscopy and on a Forester's application, and you write that they have a colonoscopy, but you don't include the dates, you don't include the results, you don't include why they got a colonoscopy, you're going to get a digestive disorder questionnaire from Forester's. Okay. Or they're going to send a requirement saying, hey, we need that information. It's extra time. Because think about it. As soon as you get a requirement, it takes Forester's a minimum of 24 to 48 hours to even look at it. That extends your chance of getting that issue paid by 48 hours. That's another 2 days. If I would have just wrote it right the first time, it could have been instant approved, and then I would already had it issued and paid. Okay, just a little detail. So when you're writing an application, make sure you're listing dosages. Make sure you're listing diagnosis dates. So for colonoscopy, I'll say client turned age 50, had routine colonoscopy for age. Results came back clear. Now I never ever get any requirements for colonoscopy. Okay. Their medication. So what I do for their medication, client takes 10 milligrams Zoloft for minor depression, currently under control. Then I'll do a slash mark. Client takes simvastatin 20 milligrams once daily, currently under control, right? Let me go back and say that. Client takes 10 milligrams simvastatin once daily. So I'm adding the frequency of how they take it in there. For cholesterol, currently under control. What you definitely don't want to do is if a client has asthma, right? If they're on any serious medications, it's going to flag it anyways, but you don't want to add things like client takes albuterol for severe asthma, right? Those what do I say? What kind of words would those be?
Can I
Alert
jump in
words.
here? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure thing.
I didn't mean to jump in. I had this experience with my kids because they, all three are athletes and all three have severe allergy-induced asthma. And they play sports in the dirt and the dust, and they're allergic to everything. So they use Symbicort. Symbicort is traditionally used for COPD.
Mhm.
My oldest was put on Brio. That is used for COPD. So I had to make really good notes in the application. Hey, this is not COPD. He just has,
Allergy induced.
asthma severely. So, and they were approved. So
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's guys, you got to take good notes. That's what we mean on the application by taking good notes, is making sure you're including dosages, frequencies, diagnosis date. It does not have to be exact. Client's not going to remember the exact day that they had a hysterectomy 2 years ago. Okay. So all I do is I say, do you remember, was it spring, summer, fall, winter of that year? I think it was winter. Okay. Out of those 3 months, what do you think it was? Right. I think it was December. So I'll just put December 1st, 2020 or December 15th, 2020. Right. They're going to cross-reference it from their medical information bureau. So they're going to say, okay, so they had a hysterectomy around that time. So that'll give us a chance to make it correct. It's good enough for them. Okay. Ruben, you have a question, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Blake?
What's up, bud?
Nothing. So my question is, I don't know if you touched it and I missed it, but what is that when you're trying to get back to your clients and reset an appointment for a conversion? Like, what is that script like? What does that sound like?
Dude, it's the easiest thing in the world. So I call my clients and they pick up the phone. Hey, Mary, it's Lake. How you doing? And if I've talked to them and I've done my persistency, they're gonna be like, hey Lake, how's it going? Awesome. Guess what? Your policy has been around for 2 years. Can you believe we did that 2 years ago? And then I'll just chat them up. Yeah, I can't believe it's 2 years. We're gonna build a little rapport for like 2 or 3 minutes. Hey, I just wanted to call you and let you know, guys, you've got a we'll see you later, Jess. Thank you so much. We've got you've got new options, right? You have a few special options with Foresters that allows you to transfer your current policy into a cash value building policy. I didn't know if you guys wanted a refresher and you wanted to hear more about that. Yeah, sure. Okay, what time are you guys home tomorrow night? And then boom, tomorrow night, literally the longest conversion appointment I had was 20 minutes, right? And so let's say they were paying $100 a month for their current term policy. If they're doing a 30-year, it's already really close to an SUL payment. So I only am upselling them another $30, but I don't get paid on just that $30. I get paid on $130, right? So I get paid on that additional premium, right? So I see so many agents that'll get into this and then they'll leave and it's like, you didn't even get to the best part, right? I mean, after your first year, you're getting all of your back end money, your months 10, 11, 12 policies. And then after your second year, you have a chance for all your conversions. It's huge. But good question. That answer it okay?
Yeah, that was good. And then another thing is that can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What if so yesterday I signed someone up and it was a Great Western policy.
Mhm.
Now what if you have to give somebody that type of policy, but they later their health gets better or something? As far as like upgrading them to a different type of policy, is that possible?
I mean, absolutely. Let's say they've had cancer 2 years ago and you keep following up with them and 3 years from now they are in perfect health and they're still in remission. Guess what? Hey, congratulations. We can get you into a term policy now. We can get you into a universal life policy now, right? Well, probably just a term because CFG is the quickest. They only look back 5 years for cancer, but now they can get the amount that they originally wanted for, right? So absolutely, people get life insurance on average 7 to 8 times in their lifetime. They get different policies, right? So why not be the person that does it all for them? Does it all 7 times? I mean, 30 years is a long time. A lot's going to change, right? So, yeah.
So another thing too is, lastly, is that they asked me as far as the accidental policy. They're like, okay, so how would, if anything were to happen, like an accident, how do we go about getting this claim? Do we have to prove it was an accident on the death certificate, or how fast will they get paid, or how does that work? I've never had to file a claim.
Just like any other death claim. The only difference is that their death certificate has to be accidental death or unnatural death.
And how long does that process usually take?
Just like any other death benefit. So as soon as they make a claim and the claim paperwork was proper, the insurance carrier has a legal obligation to pay that claim within 30 days. The only thing that you're going to run to is that if someone dies within the first 2 years, the carrier reserves the right to do some investigation. So if someone died under suspicious causes, the carrier is going to order an autopsy. They're going to see exactly what happened. They're going to double check to make sure they weren't a smoker, right? That they didn't lie on the application or anything like that. So that could hold it up a little bit, but after 2 years, they can't say anything. It's beyond the contestability period, so they'd have to pay regardless.
All right, thanks.
You got it. Kim, your name popped up next, and then I've got Zach, Jeffrey.
Yeah, these are quick. So, where do you put the extra notes? Like if you run out of room, because some of them just cut you off. Where can you put more?
What do you mean the extra notes? So like
So,
on the
yeah,
applications, like you shouldn't be short and concise. Like client had hysterectomy January 2020, results clear. Like try to keep it as short as possible because some of them do, but if you have trouble when you're signing, there's should be an area for producer comments, and that's where you put that extra information.
yeah, that was my main thing because I have run out before. There's like a lot of meds, but then
Yeah.
the colonoscopy thing too. I didn't know how to. You really answered that question because that's come up lately. I mean, if it's a routine colonoscopy, you just say routine colonoscopy.
Yeah, routine colonoscopy due to age or due to turning age 50, right? They know that they turn age 50. My wife has to get colonoscopies every year, you know, from age 25 up because it runs in her family, right? So then I have to say, hey, on her policy, I said gets routine 5-year colonoscopies due to hereditary, results came back clear, right? And they still accepted her. So, but with Foresters, they're pretty straightforward about it. If you list something and you say yes to one of the answers, there's a little button that says details that you can click on it. You click which one that you said yes to. So like heart attack, stroke, cancer, colonoscopy, or whatever. And then you can list notes underneath that.
Okay. Yeah, that was the main thing because yep.
Okay. Perfect. Jeffrey.
Oh, I thought you had Zach before me, but so I just wrote a policy on my neighbor who's currently has cancer. So I know he has the 2 years, for the full death benefit, and then if he gets cleared, from cancer, he has to wait like 2 years to get, like a different policy if that's
correct.
possible.
So he the soonest he would be able to get a policy is 2 years from his remission date. And he could get CVS Ascendo.
Gotcha.
They only do a 2-year look back. I believe CFG does a 2-year look back, but I can't remember. Foresters does a 3-year look back. Transamerica does a 4-year look back, and then Mutual of Omaha does a 4-year look back, I believe.
Okay.
But I got
Yeah.
that information from reading underwriting guides, just so you know.
Yes, sir. I mean, I know I lean on you guys a lot right now, but so
Well, you should, but put in the extra effort and when you're putting a design into your upline chat, don't lean on us 100%. I mean, we want the final say in what to write in case there's a different angle we can go at. But make sure, like I have people like, who's on here? Diane Crump and Stephanie. They'll say, hey, I think this one should be Forrester's Financial Strong Foundation, or I think this one should be CVS, right? They've gone above and beyond and checked the underwriting guide before they sent it to us so that we can have a conversation, and that creates an intelligent conversation for them to learn. Hey, that was a great choice that you chose Forrester's Financial, but I would actually go this route because, or I would say, hey, great job in underwriting that. Definitely go that route.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Like I've kind of done that a little bit just from memory of things that I've heard and just experiences.
Yep.
I don't have toolkits at the moment, but still working on it. Working
It's
through it.
$35 a month. Super
Yes,
easy.
sir. Well, yeah, I gotta, gotta get more policies under my belt.
Get it rolling. Activity, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, Zach.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? I don't see your pretty face.
Boom, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, will you go over again kind of where I screwed up with my conversion policy as far as the draft date and how that messed up the issue date?
Yeah, great point. So this is a good point for persistency. So when you're doing a policy and you're writing a policy, it's going to ask for a draft date. I don't even ask my clients this anymore, right? I'm going to put no draft date. I'm going to tell them automatically, okay, Once this gets approved, your premium's going to come out 48 hours, within 48 hours after that. If we need to make a change to the date, we can do so after. Here's an issue. So what Zach did was the client said, hey, can I put this out until the 15th? So guess what happens? This client doesn't have any protection between now and the 15th of November. And guess what else happens? You don't get paid until the client pays. Okay. Now, guess what? Their commitment isn't there. So if something comes up and they miss that payment 15 days from now, guess what? They have a high likelihood of lapsing on the policy or changing their mind and saying to cancel it because they couldn't afford it. So when a client asks me, hey, can we push this out a few days? I'm like, well, actually, so how it works is that your first premium comes out right after you're approved. It's not going to come out tonight, but it's going to take a couple of days to get approved. Once it does get approved, then we can make sure that it's on the date of your choice after the fact. Okay. If it's instant approval like Americo CVS, you're just going to say, well, this is going to be instantly approved. You guys are comfortable with your budget, right? Okay, great. So as soon as it's approved, we'll push it out to a date of your choice after the fact. Because without that first premium, they are not protected. Without that first premium, you are not paid. Without that first premium and you push it out, you have a high chance of not placing it. So good point, Zach. Thank you for bringing that up. Hope that helps.
Okay.
All right, guys, it's 8:48. We got time for one more question. You guys are making me fall asleep here. Come on. No, you guys have been great tonight. A lot of great questions. I'm going to have this posted up in the GT agency as soon as it's done. So we will see you next Wednesday this time. Okay, next Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday. Make sure you are putting in the extra effort before Thanksgiving because it's going to dry up, guys. So make sure you're putting a little bit of time on weekends, making sure you're putting a little bit of extra time here and there. Trust me, you'll enjoy that turkey a lot more if your wallet's just as full as your gut. All right. So have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Lake. Thank you.
Welcome.